aqui na favela. Pra sentar no grau. Pra sentar no grau.
Welcome everyone to this week's episode of Unrooted Men's Soccer Edition. And my guest for this week's show was none other than senior midfielder on the men's soccer team here at Menlo College, Giovanny Gomes. Gio, thanks so much for joining me on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Now, one of your unique characteristics, at least something that I enjoy, is the fact that you are a left-footed shot. I'm a lefty. It seems like you are a lefty. Are you a lefty in other walks of life, like writing or throwing, or how did the left-footed shot come to be for you?
So, ever since I was born and played soccer, I always used my left. And till this day, I still get a little, coaches still get mad at me, and because I don't use my right, but I don't know, I always use my left. Writing-wise, I write with my right. Everything else with my right, just my left foot is the only one I use, really.
That's interesting. How much of an advantage has that been for you in your soccer career?
It's been good because a lot of times when I'm playing, whichever side I'm on, I tend to have sort of an advantage because if I'm on the right side, I can wing the ball with my left. If I'm on the left side, I can hit it across the keeper. So it's helped me in many different ways throughout my career.
Yeah, it certainly is a dangerous asset to have. Now, you've made the transition this year from more of a striker position to playing in the attacking midfield, which certainly it was surprising to an outsider like me when the season began because you scored 9 goals last season. What's the difference in the two positions for you, and how have you adapted to that change?
So originally I played in a central position. I was a central midfielder, and coming to Menlo, Keith had talked to me about moving up to play with Eric, our last year striker, and we had a good relationship. He was basically our point of reference when playing out of the back and when playing balls over to him, and me coming underneath to support him. So it played a big role last year, and this year kind of going back into what I used to play is midfielder and having a little bit more control of the game and build out of the game and having that presence in the midfield with Angie and Michael and Trey and many others.
But of course, it was still pretty cool to see you score twice against Westmont last week. It was certainly, again, a bit of a surprise to see the offensive numbers go down, and then all of a sudden, the first conference game of the year, Gio's the focal point of the offense.
Yeah.
That was pretty nice.
It was fun.
So let's talk about that game here a little bit. Conference opener against a ranked team in Westmont. They're ranked number 4 in the country, and it was an overtime loss, unfortunately, for the Oaks. But you guys played a very commanding first half. What was your key to getting off to such a good start against Westmont?
So we've talked throughout the whole week that we want to keep a 90-minute standard throughout the whole game, and we want to keep that momentum and that drive to win the game in 90 minutes. And I think that helped us throughout our preparation throughout the week. Just the factor that we saw the things during preseason that we had a little problems with. We fixed those problems, and now we're just trying to strive. And the Westmont game was a game where we saw that we have the capacity to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And from start to finish, it was a thrilling game. And as it went along, it really seemed like the intensity started to pick up, and it truly resembled a playoff game within the GSAC. Do you feel that those games are going to be instrumental as you prepare for what hopefully is a deep playoff run this year?
So, yeah, I think the Westmont game is a game that every player wants to play in. It's those tough games that you want to make a name for yourself and you want to put Menlo on the map. And I think playing Westmont and, like you said, a playoff game, it had that vibe, it had that feeling. Even playing in the game, it had that feeling. And I think it's going to help us in the long run because we are going to face opponents just like Westmont and sometimes even better. So that's going to help us in the long run when we make to playoff time.
Yeah, and who knows, you might face Westmont again at some point down the road
in
the conference tournament. Now, I know the defense hasn't been the strong suit of the Oaks lately, but Andre Zimmerman has continued to be fantastic in goal. He made some stellar saves in the Westmont game to keep it tied. How have his efforts really helped keep you guys energized and fired up?
So Andres he's a very high class, keeper, and he has experience even in Europe, and he brings that experience here to the field, to Menlo, and having him in goal and having him get great saves, it brings a sort of, feeling for us where like we're playing in the attack front where, okay, our keeper is putting in work in the back. Now we got to, we got to score, and it's because of his hard work back there then that we've saved that goal, and now we got to go score a goal. So I think having him create those great saves last year and this year, and seeing him develop throughout these couple of months, it just strives us to, you know, get the goals in and also help our defense out.
And I know you're a senior, so you won't get to experience it next year, but still one more full season of Andres Zimmerman in goal for the Oaks. Certainly a good thing for 2020. Now, Menlo hits the road for conference play this week. You go down and take on San Diego Christian Thursday, and then the Masters on Saturday. They're another team that always seems to play you guys very tough, and they play everybody very tough. So how important are adjustments going to be in this contest?
I think those are two opponents that, you know, we want to go down the road and we want to get 2 results. That's the most important thing right now, is for us to get those 2 results and come back. But I think in preparation for those 2 teams is just a matter of fact that we need to maintain that 90-minute strive, and we need to maintain the things that we're great at, which is, you know, building out of the back and connecting passes and finding our wingers and finding the ball to our midfielders and connecting, and having us drop back, win the second ball. These are all little things that we talk daily, and it's things that will help us throughout those 2 games.
Absolutely. The Oaks taking on the Masters University. That's the episode the game that will take place after this episode drops on Friday. Oaks and the Mustangs on Saturday. All right, Gio, let's get into the final segment of the show. It's called Brownie Bites. I'm going to ask you 3 off-the-wall questions and give me your best answers.
Okay.
Question number 1, which teammate is the easiest to scare?
So the easiest to scare is my roommate Callie, just because I've scared him. Last night I scared him twice already, and it's just so funny because, like, I can be doing something, and then when I see him putting the keypad, I'll just go behind, like, the door, behind the closet, and just scare him real quick, and it's so funny, his reaction. So he's the one.
But so when you did it last night, were they intentional or were they accidental?
No, they were intentional. I wanted to scare him, and I did, and it's just funny because he reacts so funny, and it's just a fun thing that we have going on right now.
And he doesn't strike me as someone who's going to try and get you back.
No, he's tried, but yeah, we'll see.
But to no avail.
Yeah.
Question number 2. Which teammate is most likely to get hit in the head by an acorn that is dropped by one of the many squirrels here on the Menlo campus?
So I would say Luke Liedel, just because his head is a little bit bigger than everyone else's, so it's an easier target for the squirrel.
That's
you know?
true.
So I would say Luke. Luke's the one.
That's true, yeah. Whenever those squirrels, they can be pretty violent at times, and if he is in the right place at the right time, drop, big head, was probably like, what, size 8 on the hat? I don't know.
Yeah, he's tried my hat sometimes, and he has to, like, go to the last one, sometimes even none.
Sometimes even that still won't work.
Yeah.
And then question number 3. If you could pick one teammate to fly on a solo plane trip with, who are you picking and why? And keep in mind, one of you has to fly.
Okay, so it's kind of hard, but I think I would pick probably Fimbres, Jose, just because I would probably do the flying, just because we both also work in the same company, so I think it's easier for me to fly the plane and have him as my co-pilot, and I think that's the best option.
Does that have anything to do with the fact that you're a manager?
So, yeah, I wasn't going to bring it up, but yeah.
But I did, so
yeah,
go for
so we both work for the same company, and I'm the manager. I'm one of the managers that we have, and when we work certain events around here in Atherton and in other places, I am his manager, so I am, like, sort of his boss. So throughout like the event, I'll, like, have him do certain things, like, oh, Keys, can you go get the car, or, like, Fimbres, go get this, or, like, Fimbres, do this, you know. So yeah, that's why I think, yeah.
Does he ever push back?
Yeah, sometimes, because he just knows me so well. So, like, he knows that I won't, you know, write him up, but there's certain times where, like, if we're getting really hectic and it's getting really crazy with a bunch of guards coming in, then I do have to, like, yo, man, like, I need you right now. I need you to, you know, get to work. I need you to run. Right now he can't because he's injured, but...
That's true. Yeah, he can't really help you out too much right now on the job.
Yeah,
so.
But it's fun. Yeah, he would be the person I would want to fly with, but I would do the flying.
But you would do the flying, and he would probably just be the entertaining passenger, perhaps.
Yep, just playing music.
Getting music and maybe making a few drink runs. Go to the back of the plane, get some drinks.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of fits right in with the whole manager and employee relationship, just a little bit. Sorry, Jose. I had to go there. Gio, thanks for joining me on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, folks. The men's soccer team going on the road this weekend with the women's soccer team as they take part in doubleheaders all weekend. Thursday, the Oaks take on San Diego Christian. That's before this episode drops, which is on Friday. And then Saturday, Both the Oaks soccer teams will take on the Masters University before they return home for Oktoberfest weekend. We invite you to tune into next week's episode of Unrooted Men's Soccer Edition when Giovanny Gomes will select the next interviewee by me, Brian Brownfield, right here on the show. Until then, we'll see you next time. Take care, everyone, and Germany beat Brazil.
Oh, man.
Aqui na favela, pra sentar no grau, pra sentar no grau, pra sentar.